I release myself from my father's projections. I am free from his curses disguised as protection. That is something that came to me, and I've been using it daily ever since. Recently, doing some EFT tapping, and it was literally just given to me to say, and I wrote it down, and I say it every day because words are spells. How many spells have been cast on us without us really paying attention to that? Words are spells. That's why they call it spelling, right? Because words carry power, definition, vibration, meaning, tone, significance. How many words have been said to us that have cast curses on us? That we think we're being cursed, right? But really it's just that we're not filtering out a lot of the bullshit. We're not sifting through a lot of those voices in our head and figuring out which voice is ours and which voice belongs to someone else, and which words are words we'd use and which words are someone else's. And how many times have people meant well, possibly, with the things that they've said to us, but unknowingly cast spells on us, curses, bad juju, because of their fear and their anger or jealousy or whatever the case is. This came up to me when I was doing EFT on my witchiness. I have been a witch by choice and just consciously since I was a teenager. I left the church at 13 because I needed time to really discover myself. I was not happy with a lot of things in my family, in my life. I was disappointed by a lot of the things I saw in my church. And I needed time, and in that time I've done a lot of discovery, a lot of research. I still do a lot of discovery and a lot of research because that's the thing. Choosing this path of a spiritual life means you're never going to stop learning. You don't just arrive and just be like, oh, I know it all. No, you don't. And you never will. And that's why you keep coming back. But I got in trouble for it all the time. And even as I got older, even now as an adult, I've been reprimanded by family members and people on the internet and just all that stuff about, that's devil worship. That's not of the Lord and yada yada. And it's like, okay. And so I carried with me a lot of guilt for that, for having these alternative beliefs, which really aren't alternative at all. They've been around for a long time, and they've been translated in many different ways and shapes and forms, and they're all saying the same thing. If you really take your own fear and your own bias and your own misunderstanding out of it, they're all saying a lot of the same things, just coming from different cultures, different people, different timelines. And that's that. But this mantra, this spell, this empowerment spell came to me because as I was doing my tapping, I realized, and this was also in the midst of while I was doing a week-long energy cleanse as well. So I was feeling a lot of that entanglement in my sacral chakra and my root. All my lower chakras were feeling it hard. And when I was feeling that energy shift in those energy centers as I was tapping, I was also tapping on my right side, which is the masculine side. Because when I do EFT tapping, if you do EFT tapping, you know what I'm talking about. When I do EFT tapping, I do both sides. I don't just do, pick a side and do it. I do both because I want to integrate the masculine and the feminine, the right brain and the left brain. And I want them both to be cleared because there's different things that get processed on each side, right? So when I was on the masculine side and I was clearing that energy, that's where I felt it in those chakras. And then that mantra came, and I realized that that was still a black magic spell that was placed upon me, disguised as protection. And this was placed upon me and my siblings as well, whether they want to see that or not, totally up to them. That's their life to live, and they're adults. But that was put on all of us to take us out of our power, take us out of our purpose, because we all had our gifts. And unfortunately, growing up in a household where the leaders of the household want to be dictators, and everything you believe in, want to do, goes through them, or so they think, pulls on your power, makes you feel guilty about wanting to be powerful, wanting to be purposeful, wanting to have your own mind, wanting to have your own direction, and trust your intuition, and all of that good stuff. And so that came up for me, and I was like, whoa. And I've been saying it ever since. And it made me want to talk about it, because how many of us have had people in our lives that could have absolutely meant well, but then others could have just had their own agendas, their own jealousies, their own anger, their whatever, and have disguised things as protection, as friendliness, as looking out for you. But really, they're not looking out for you. They are looking to sabotage you. Because words carry weight, especially if you really trust the person, if you really love the person, if you have your own perceptions of the person, like you're looking at their potential versus the reality. You know, how many of us have let them cast these spells on our mind, which have then sabotaged us? And this is me, like I said, stepping back into my witchiness. I have let myself step away from it so many times throughout my life. And I've noticed the pattern is when I've been at the peak of it. When I've been at the peak of my, like, feeling empowered, feeling confident, feeling clear, feeling like so tapped in. It's like this guilt would just come in, or this fear would come in. Like, you know that you're doing it for the wrong reasons, or you know you're tapping into evil sources, or you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't. And I would then have a circumstance that would come up in my life, right, through another person, that would traumatize me and scare me, and then I'd be like, oh my God, I don't want to be like that, so I'm just not going to do this. Because I've seen a lot of that in the metaphysical community. I've seen a lot of that in the spiritual community. People acting like they're one way, but they're really not. And people acting like they're charitable, but they're really doing it for greedy purposes, or selfish purposes, or egotistical purposes. People smiling at you, but cursing you behind your back. You know, the moment you disagree with them, they want to go and say you have a demon attached to you. Okay? Which is another thing that I've noticed as I've been doing the tapping, as I've been reclaiming the witchiness, as I've been stepping more into my divine feminine healing and stuff, is that I brought this up to my husband after we had some serious talks about some things in our healing journey. And I also brought this up to a sister friend of mine as well. And it's been a pattern in my life that every time I have spoken up for myself, or just wanted to raise attention to something, not to fight, not to end a friendship or a connection with someone or whatever, it was just because I trusted them. It was because I felt I could, and they made me feel comfortable enough to share, that it was as soon as I brought up this thing that made them uncomfortable, that shone a light on them or on a situation, right away I have a demon on me. Right away there's something wrong with me. Right away I'm a narcissist. And that goes back to how ill spirits will pay attention to your reactions and the things that bother you, to play on that. Because immediately I would go right into, oh my God, what if I do have a demon attached to me? What if I am doing something evil? What if I am a narcissist? What if I am this? Like, I was literally crying to my sister friend not too long ago saying, oh my God, what if I am narcissistic? And she had to sit me down and be like, if you were narcissistic, you wouldn't even be asking that. Because narcissists don't think they're narcissistic. And it took me a bit to really settle on that, because I'm like, well, you're sure? Are you sure? And she's like, yes. You know, but this was a way that I was disempowered because of my own conditioned guilt about my power. And this is something I'm working on constantly. Layer by layer by layer it comes up, and this is just another layer of that. Okay? So, and I feel just guided to share this vlog, this personal experience that I'm going through right now, that I'm growing through, with anyone who is growing through the same thing. You are a powerful person. Do not be afraid of being a powerful person. Power is not evil. There's nothing evil about power. It is your beliefs about power. It is your insecurities about power that you need to work through. It is the traumas you have experienced about your power that you need to work through. But you being powerful is not a bad thing. You all have power. You use your power every day. I've met people that have used their power to do absolute horrible things, but I also have people in my life that use their power to do amazing things. You know, power is energy. And energy never dies, it just changes form. And it changes form in accordance with your thought, your will, your actions, your behaviors, your habits, your belief systems, all that stuff. That power takes on a form of its own depending on how you internalize and then regulate it and distribute it. Okay? So I'm learning that layer, that next layer of that on my own, as I really reclaim that witchiness, and that being a witch is not satanic, it's not evil, it's not, I'm not evil for reading cards, I'm not evil for having an intuitive muscle. We all have that. I'm not evil for believing in Jesus, but also speaking to the trees and the rocks and meditating under the moon. I'm not evil for wanting to connect with all the things that God made for us here to enjoy, And I'm not evil for standing up for myself, for speaking my truth, for trying to bring light to a situation so that I can have a peaceful connection with people. And people that will try to constantly disturb that and dysregulate it when all you're trying to do is just stay connected authentically are not your people. Those are people that are run by spirits of distraction and depression and fear, and they don't even realize it. They think that's who they are, and that's not even who they are. And they need some attachment removals. But don't get wrapped up in their attachments. Don't be attached to their attachments. Work on why you think you attach to those things, so this way you don't keep getting spiritually messed with. You know what I'm saying? You can even take that prayer that I said at the beginning and adjust it to whatever you need. Like, let's say, you're releasing yourself from your mother's projections. I am free from her curses disguised as protection. You could apply it to your sister. You could apply it to an ex. You can apply it to a grandmother, whoever. And just repeat that. Like, I am free of other people's curses disguised as something else. I am released from their projections. I am not attached to their attachments. And see how you feel just by admitting that that's what is happening, and how that is affecting your witchiness, your power, your magic, your zest for life. And reclaim that, because that's what I'm doing. Hardcore right now. This is a hardcore layer of this work that I'm doing on myself, and apparently someone or a few someones out there are going through the same thing, because I had to talk about it in this vlog and share this piece of my life experience with you, and just show you. I always want to show y'all that, like, I'm a person too. Like, just because I do this work doesn't mean I'm not doing the work. I'm not here doing these videos and, having sessions and hosting classes because I know it all. It's because I'm growing with you. Because if I am to be a true leader or teacher, or whatever you want to call me, whatever label, whatever that is you see me as, I have to do it with you. Because the minute we stop doing it with our community, the minute we stop doing the work with our community, we stop being that person we say we are. We start putting ourselves in hierarchy, where we think, I'm better than you. No, you're not. You're better than you were, which is why you're in this position to want to help other people. But you are not better than those people, because there are other layers you're going through too. All the time. Challenges you're going to face. And that's something I'm growing through right now. But it doesn't make you narcissistic or evil or, whatever labels you're putting on yourself because you're reclaiming your power. All that matters is what you decide to do with that power. Okay? Right now, if you are beating yourself up and being mean to yourself and constantly filled with guilt and indecision and doubt and all that stuff, you're using your power to sabotage yourself, to be unhappy. You're cursing yourself now because of curses that have been placed on you. And I'm realizing that too. And I am no longer doing that. No. We're not doing that. You, me, we're not doing that. No more. No more. Cut the crap. It's done. It is done. Reclaim your power. Release yourself from projections. Free yourself from curses disguised as protection or whatever you want to, however you want to adjust that. They can keep it. Return to sender with love and consciousness attached, as my sister friend told me. I love that. Return it to sender with love and consciousness attached. Don't want to hurt you, but you should go heal. So this way you don't keep doing this to other people. And heal yourself too. So this way you don't do it to others, to yourself, or allow it to be done to you either. Love you.